Hey Fitzgerald, how are you? Just give me a sec. I want to share this out. Okay. Is chat ranking a feature of monetized channels? Um, I'm not sure. Well, no, not monetized because I'm not monetized. But how are you tonight? It's Chozo. Are you ready to try and get some Canadian superheroes? You can't really hear me. Let me put this mic. Never knows how much it wants to do stuff. Can you hear me now? But hello, Fitzchozo. How are you tonight? Are you ready to try and get some Canadian superheroes? Like, got a couple minutes. We need a few more people in here. But 12 minutes, quarter after, we'll be doing that. Unless we get enough people in here before then. And I got a little bit of news for people too. But I'll wait till a few more people are here because that way I don't have to say that much, hopefully. Please make sure you hit the like and share this out. Grab that link again. Put in a couple. Hey, I just put the link in a few different places. Hopefully that gets a few people here. That way we can start for the night. So besides this, what do you got going on tonight? It's Chozo. Did you do a little bit of research, a little bit of homework to see if you can find a few more Canadian superheroes and what you're used to? Hey Joshua, how are you? So two people here, just waiting on a third for before quarter after, and at quarter after, no matter what, we'll start. I don't know how jolly I'm going to be tonight, but probably off of sitting in back, not letting anybody know. I just gotta wait until another person or two shows up. Yeah. Well, Joshua's here, so that's one more person. But Alpha Proto could be sitting in the background, just waiting for the first image to come up, and then boom. But quarter after, no matter whether another third person shows up or not, we start. We start beforehand if third person shows up, because I'd like to, be able to give out points for first, second, and third, you know, or have the possibility, anyways. So make sure you're hitting the like button and showing that the chat currently shows. Well, the chat doesn't show 3, but yeah, probably view count shows 3. But I'm waiting to see 3 people actually type in the chat to know that there's 3 people here ready to type. Are you ready to type? Are you ready to fight? Hey-oh, J-oh, daylight come and we want to go home. Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh. Are you ready for Canadian superheroes tonight, Joshua? Next week, of course, will be American patriotic flag themed heroes. Well, I should say American. I'm not sure whether to say flag themed or patriotic heroes. What do you think the title should be? Flag themed or patriotic? Because I'm thinking most of them will be dressed in the flag in some way, shape, or form. And when we say patriotic, what would we mean by that exactly? What's a different definition of official definition of patriotic? having or expressing a devotion to and rigorous support of one's country. Okay, I could say patriotic, I think. Do, 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 do. Could that mean Superman would be patriotic, or at least at one time, because his standing thing was for truth, justice, and the American way? Would have that meant he was a patriotic superhero for the United States? Does that give him devotion to America, the United States? I guess one could argue that. Superman used to be, yes. I'm just trying to make some sort of conversation between now and 3 minutes from now. When we show the first image, will you be able to get the first image? Yes, today is Canadian superheroes. Superheroes, they don't necessarily operate in Canada, but they come from Canada. I should have shared this out ahead of time. Yeah, you should have. Amelia, if you haven't done it already, you have 2 minutes to do so. I've already done my research. Well, this is good. Good to do your research. But I do have quite a few to choose from next week. I haven't done next week's, set next week's up, but I have went and got a bunch of pictures already. There's only 20 Canadians, so that should be easy. Actually, I was watching a video, Top 10 Nerd, and they did the top 10 Canadian superheroes. They were all Marvel. It should have been the top 10 Marvel Canadian superheroes. They didn't take ones from any other thing. Comics. They didn't even include Captain Canuck. That was just pitiful. But anyways, it is that time. It is quarter after. Are you ready for round one of the silhouette game? Well, if you're not, I guess that's on you. So here we go. Round one. Yes, Canada does. One form of the Justice League operated out of Canada. Yes, Logan, Wolverine. I will count Logan as correct. So Joshua first. Then well, I put it through, but I'll give it to you. I'll let you have it, Alpha. Although you would have seen it, but I'm pretty sure you would have anyways. Hey, Mike. Remember, everybody, like and share. So, yes, round one, Wolverine. But I can tell you, I'll say more than one is from Marvel. But I think I did a good enough job that most of these are not from Marvel. So, anyways, round two. I don't know. Joshua doesn't seem to get this stuff. I'm not sure. Maybe he's not doing live chat. You gotta love how Joshua is using their real names. So, yes, Deadpool, Wade Wilson is correct. And so we have Alpha first. This show is always on when I'm getting dinner. Well, you know it comes on at 6 your time, I believe. So it comes on at the same time every week, or almost every week. So Fitzchozo is second again, and then followed by Joshua. So we flipped it. Okay, so that was round two. Round three. Well, I don't think Joshua is going to be able to do their real names now for most of them, if any of them. Probably most of them I don't even know the real names. Yes, you are third in the fan thing. Any guesses? Fitzchozo? Okay, 10-second countdown for Fitzchozo. Oh, there we go. Yes, Captain Canuck. The original version by Richard Comley. So we have Alpha in first. No surprise there. We have Joshua in second. No surprise there. And then Fitzchozo. No offense to him, but no surprise there either. But in third. So bye bye, Mr. Canuck. Time for round four. See whether who can score. Well, I'm sorry. It's Magneto without his cape. No, it's Guardian. Looks like a Magneto pose. That's why I said it. So Alpha Proto followed by Joshua, and no third place this time. So round 5. Unfortunately, might be where it starts to get home. Yeah, they both really look similar. What, Northgard or Magneto and Guardian? Let me know if you're actually not going to guess this round. Joshua or Alpha or. Well, this round goes to nobody. It's Johnny Canuck, an older Canadian superhero. Although, I'm not sure whether they bring him back or not. So, nobody gets round 5. Johnny Canuck. So, bye bye, Johnny. Round 6. Will Alpha get this? Will he? Won't he? Has Joshua got it? Has Fitzchozo got it? We will only know once the third guest is in the chat. Or Los Alpha says, I don't know. I give up. Yes, we have a right answer in the chat, and it is Snowdrift. So, Alpha got it. And speaking of cross comics with Snowdrift, how is that cheating, Joshua? She is a Canadian superhero that anybody on this channel, or most people on this channel, should know. But anyway, speaking of cross comics, and which is about Canadian Shield, the launching of Canadian Shield is being postponed a week. It is going to be being launched on the 12th of July now. The reason for this is yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I got a call from my dad saying that the night before he had a very tough night. Forgive the way I put this, that he ended up shitting the bed, and he doesn't want to have to put his wife through or anybody through having to deal with that sort of stuff. So he's called up and he's going to be setting up his government assisted suicide that he set up, that he could do, call whenever he was wanting to because of the cancer, for sometime next week, most likely Tuesday. So I thought I might have been going up to his place with my Uncle Charlie on Saturday for see him one last time, say some goodbyes again from when I was up there last week when I came home Sunday. But I am going up Sunday with my Uncle Charlie, not Saturday, but I figured since I had already decided to postpone till next Saturday, I'd keep that. The way so I just thought to let you guys all know, for everybody that was waiting for Canadian Shield 3. Thanks, Hal. Outcast. I figured this was a good segue into it. The Snowdrift Canadian superhero reveal. So, it's been a fairly hard day yesterday and today. Yeah. Thanks, Alpha. I will still do my stream on Saturday of coloring up Canadian Shield 4 or 3, whatever, you know what I mean. Okay. Enough with the downer news. It's on to round 7 for Canadian superheroes. So here comes round 7. Tim, I'll wait a couple minutes, but if you want to rewind like 2 minutes, maybe three, you can hear the donor news. I don't really want to repeat it again. Uh, well, we do have a right answer in the chat, but it's not the most popular one. It is Vindicator. So Fitzchozo got it. Um, since I showed that, Tim, did you want to? Well, at this point, it'd probably be more like 5 minutes. Just after the reveal of Snowdrift is, or just shortly within 30 seconds of the reveal, I said about the Downer News. Did you want to go look at that while we just talk about whatever for a couple minutes, or just do you want to go on with the show? Maybe at the end of the show, I'll say it again if you want. I just want to give some time in between. I'm okay. I saw. Okay. Okay. Round. Yeah, I got that your guess was Snowbird for the last one. It was wrong. It was Vindicator. Fitzchosen was right. So, round 8. What will be your fate? And hello, Metal. How are you? Okay, so we're waiting for Joshua and Alpha. If Fitzchosen is right, their comment won't matter. If he's wrong, it will matter. Or could matter. And he is wrong. But Joshua is right. Yes, it is Major Maple Leaf. So now that everybody's fate is sealed for round 8, it's time for round 9, where nobody will probably be just fine. I think there's a couple major Maple Leafs, though. One has a hat, one doesn't. If it's Chozo or Joshua putting in an answer that's the same or different than these, maybe it will matter, maybe it won't matter. Tim says he needs points. What do you need points for? What are you going for, Tim? You making a guess, Joshua? Well, nobody has the right answer. This is Nelvana of the Northern Lights, an extremely old Canadian superhero from like World War 40s or 50s. And in this time, it might help following somebody else's lead or doing your own lead, Joshua. Everybody's pretty much in the same boat as you. They have no clue at this point. Although next week she might be a little bit easier for you. Patriotic American superheroes. Okay, so that was round 9. Nobody was fine. That's Nirvana, not Nalvana. So round 10. No need to pick up your pen. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. But no, it is not. And again, nobody's got it. This is Equinox. She is from DC. Comics. So round 11. Uh, just Canadian superheroes, Outcast. Not patriotic, just Canadian superheroes. Unfortunately, I couldn't find enough Canadian patriotic superheroes or characters, so it's just Canadian superheroes. So round 11. Any guesses, Outcast? Well, the right answer is in the chat. And the one time he should have followed, he didn't. So Tim is wrong. It's Fleur de Lis. I put her feet in. Well, the one thing was coming up her feet, so. So Joshua is first. Followed by Fitzchozo. Followed by Alpha. And unfortunately, Outcast, you were just a little too bit late. Okay, so bye bye 11. Here comes 12. Throwing things around isn't going to help you, Tim. Although, I guess it could help with relieving some frustration, but. Was the accident knocks that coffee off a shelf that happens to have the answer. Yeah, that's for sure. Guesses, Outcast? Or are you not guessing this round, Outcast? Since my counters aren't working, I guess I will do a 10. Well, yes, this is the other major Maple Leaf. Sorry, Fitzchozo, it's not Iron Man. Although, for people, uh, there was an Iron Man before Marvel's Iron Man that was produced by a Canadian comic. It's not official that he was Canadian. I did think about using him, I'll be blunt, but I haven't, so you know he's not going to be in any of the couple other rounds here. Just because it wasn't 100% sure that he was supposed to be Canadian. But he was produced by a Canadian comic book, but he was supposed to be similar in power to Namor, from what I get. I don't get how there is two. I'm pretty sure they're two separate guys, anyways. The costumes are completely different, as you can see. But anyways, let's see. That was Alpha first. And Tim finally has some points. He got 2 points. And then Joshua. Maybe one is public domain. I don't know how it works exactly for that. The guy's name was just Maple Leaf, I could see, or just Major, but Major Maple Leaf together. And again, sorry, Outcast, just a little late. But I always want to see whether people want to try and get. And plus, it makes those other guys with the 3 answers to the chat think, oh, maybe my answer's wrong. Anyways, that was round 12. We are on round 13. So what is your guess for round 13? Alpha or Tip, are you gonna guess this round? Alpha, are you making a guess? Tim, are you making a guess? Should I do the rebel? Okay, we're gonna do a 15-second countdown for Timothy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And you only get one guess per round, Joshua. And unfortunately, nobody is right. North Star doesn't have a cape. And I guess you guys only think there's characters from Marvel? No, this is Captain Newfoundland. Or Newfoundland. I don't know anything about him. Except he's a Canadian superhero. Guess he's patriotic to Newfoundland? Except for the really no face, it reminds me, and it looks similar to Cloak, except really white instead of black. And the cape being blue, I guess. But I know nothing about him. I guess I could learn, but Joshua was like, say what? So bye bye, Newfoundland. You need a new captain. I don't know why. Do I have enough points for another comic? Yeah, you had enough points at the beginning of this. You gotta earn enough last round to get things, but so here's round 14. But you can put them in at the end of the thing. It shows up. Did you read the first one yet? Alpha, Tim, I think those Joshua. Oh, okay. Well, after this week, Canadian Shield 1 and you'll have most likely Canadian Shield 1 and 2. So you can read those together. Canadian Shield's not going to be out for a few months to be able to get, unless you pay the money. Well, it's still not going to be out for a few months. I'm not sure whether you want to wait for Snowdrift before you read the two Canadian Shields or not. Well, I'm assuming you're getting Canadian Shield, not Snowdrift #1. Joshua, Timothy, any guesses? I think Tim's gone, actually, so if Joshua makes his guess, we will do the reveal. Unless Joshua wants to say, I don't know. And yes, finally Fitzchozo, it is Northgard. You've been holding on to that one since almost the beginning. I got the north part, north part right. Yeah. Uh, yes, you did. Yeah, he does. Definitely. Well, there is the thing. Guardian, although he was called Vindicator at one time too. I'm not sure whether it was before or after Guardian. Um, he was actually supposed to have the name Canadian Shield, but the editor or somebody in charge above the guy that created Guardian said to the name, scrap that name. We don't want to call him Canadian Shield. We want to call him, I think it was Vindicator. And it's like, what? Canadian Shield is a way better name than Vindicator or Guardian for a Canadian themed superhero. And I have more than one Canadian themed superhero, so, I think I can speak a little bit on that. Anyways, that was round 14. Are you guys ready for the last round? Can you believe? And there were a couple more than this, not including mine. Not many more. That there were our 15 Canadian superheroes. Well, just with Marvel, you can make up this list with Marvel, really. But I didn't. I wanted to try and not include. I think I included a third of the list was Marvel, but I wanted to make sure not all this list was Marvel. So, anyways, here's round 15. Yeah, well, he only had like about 4 issues too. Joshua Northgard, and actually they incorporated a new version of him in with the new um, Captain Canuck version universe. Although they were originally two separate universes, Captain Canuck and Northgard. And a lot of Canadian themed superheroes, especially if they're using the flag, do look similar. There's only so much you can do with, red, white, and a maple leaf. So nobody's guessing for red ketchup. Okay, nobody else making a guess besides Joshua at this point? Well, we got 4 answers in the chat. It doesn't look like Tim's around anymore. He got some points, so he decided to leave. And surprisingly enough, we do have a right answer in the chat. Who do we think is right? I know who's right. Do we think Joshua is right? Do we think Fitzchozo and Outcasts are right? Or do we think Alpha is right? Well, I can tell you it is Alpha. Yes, this is Centrix. He is a DC, another DC Canadian superhero. So not too bad for tonight, guys, for scoring. Red ketchup is recoverable apparently. Oh wow. Canadian Shield 2 is what you want. I figured that's what you'd want. Okay, so that's 30 points if I remember right. So I'm going to open that up right here, right now. And I will send you a link to that afterwards. It's Chozo. Okay, so there we go. Fitzchozo is down to 0 points. So that means Gemini to Mike gets up. Okay, so save, save as. So, but did everybody enjoy this week's silhouette game? And I'm not sure what that emoji is supposed to be. Cool. I have more points than Dillard draws. Yeah, well, you're here a little bit more often than Dillard and participate, so. Okay, later, Fitzjozo. Yeah, definitely pray for his salvation over the next few days. I'll be up to see him. Game over. Yeah. Sunday. I'm not sure what else to say. Yeah, so the 12th is when we're launching Canadian Shield So a week from Saturday. I think everybody in the chat knows about what's going on with my dad. I think because I know Metal saw it and reacted to it on the disc in the Discord. Everybody here's heard. Well, except for Tim. I'm not sure whether Timothy went back and listened or not. He never said anything about my dad to me, so I don't know. But that's all right. Yeah, and I guess pray for me too. You know, like sort of tough on me too. I'm not sure what else to say. Oh, are you still here, Fitzchosen? Where do you want me to send the link through Discord or Twitter? Hey, Lorenzo. Okay, I guess I'll say something just because of Lorenzo coming in. Um, that's a tier that I've got to add to my campaign. The Lorenzo Sleestack tier. The double, the double thing. Canadian Shield was supposed to be launched this Saturday. It's been, thanks Joshua, it's been delayed a week. It's now going to be launched on the 12th, just because stuff going on with my dad. For those that don't know, my dad's cancer came back. And basically, well, he had decided more than before the cancer that if he couldn't wipe his own butt and, you know, eat his own food, that he was gonna basically commit suicide. Unfortunately, here in Canada, we have government-assisted suicide for such things. Well, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, or no, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, he had a rough night for sleeping. He ended up shitting himself, and with that, he doesn't want to put his wife through that, being having to clean up the mess and all that. So he basically called the government people and said, "Hey, well, he hasn't gotten in contact with them, but he's going to be saying, hey, let's do this." So next Tuesday, maybe Wednesday or sometime next week, my dad will no longer be with us. He is, with the help of the government, committing suicide. Uh, so, um, I'm gonna was possibly going to up to see him on Saturday one last time, but now it's Sunday, so that's why the delay. But anyways, what is the silhouette game, Lorenzo? The silhouette game is a game in which usually there is a topic, and you have to guess whose silhouette it is for what character. Like this character, this is Centrix from DC Comics. I would have had a silhouette over him like that, and you would have been able. I would have said, "Who do you think this is? What character do you think this is?" And you would have given. You get one guess in the chat to say. Uh, One guess in the chat to who it is, and then the top three people get points, and you build your points up, and you can redeem them for stuff. And this case, this character is Centrix. He is a Canadian superhero from DC Comics. This is the 43rd thing. Next week we'll be back with American patriotic superheroes. For episode 44. We're going up to 52 for season 1. We're going to take a break for a month, and then we're going to come back, and all the points go back to 0. Lorenzo says, have you considered adopting affirmative action rec? No, I have not. I recommend a 90% lizard character quota per book. Well, that might be a little hard. Here, let me bring up rules and rewards. Rules first, I guess. Well, and every woman who participates is by default head of medium points. Yeah, well, somehow you think you have negative points, but 0 points. Anybody who participates and actually gets points has more than 0 points, so that way they're ahead of you, for sure. Metal. Actually, I think I have. Here's the rules. 1 guess per round. First 3 people to guess right get points. First answer is worth 3 points. Second person right is 2 points. Third person right is 1 point. And here's what things are at the moment. 1 point, get a hint. 5 points, you can time somebody out for a minute, so it's probably not worth that unless you just want to do it. So I'm probably going to I might get rid of the timeout stuff. Nobody seems to want it. Nobody seems to want to try the multiply points thing. They're too afraid. We're probably going to end up just starting at 30 points because nobody seems to want to use anything from 1 to 15 point. Nobody wants to use the 40 points. We're probably going to be getting rid of that for next year. So here's what points can be spent at the moment and on what. And here's the rest of the points. Well, I guess if we take away those multiplier things and all that, because nobody's tried to do a whole thing of silhouettes themselves, planned a show to try and get those lots of points, Nobody spent 500 points there's only one person at this point that has 500 points. Well, no, 2. Alpha and Joshua. Well, I'm not sure about how you can get confused with the rules. There's only 3. There are the rules, Lorenzo. There's 15 rounds. You get 1 guess per round at what the silhouette who the who or what the silhouette is of. If you guess right, and you're one of the first three people to guess right, you get points. Depending on which person you are, if you're first person get it right, second person, or third person, depends on how many points you get. That's the rules. I think fairly simple. Now, as for the rewards, I guess that can be a little bit more difficult. One point gets you a hint. The points you earn, you can spend this way at the moment, these different ways. I'm not sure whether you can read that or not, Lorenzo. If you can't, let me know. I will be happy to read it out for you. Well, I guess the other thing is, yeah, the character's name. Like this one here. We would have a silhouette over that. It would be blacked out like that, Lorenzo, and you would try and guess who that character is. If you think you know. Now, most and first rounds are fairly easy because we'll give you a first round. We'll show you a first round one. That's round 15. So that's a little harder. This was round one. So you would try and say who you thought this was. You're not getting any points for this, Lorenzo. But who do you think that is? What character do you think that is? And it's supposed to be getting a little harder as you go on. The first 5 rounds are usually fairly easy, and then goes up in bit difficulty. But depending on the topic, it could be difficult right from the beginning. I try and put them as easy as I think they are in order, but everybody's experience. Yeah, that's Wolverine. And if you would have been one of the first, we were doing this for real. If you would have been one of the first three people to put Wolverine in the chat, or Logan, or something that I would recognize that's supposed to be one of those, I make do for spelling errors and all that. You would get points at that point, and your points can accumulate over the weeks. Yeah, it seems to be, everybody seems to have fun. And as you can see on that side, on the far side, I keep a list of who's got points. You can see the chat there. Well, you might not be able to read it. I can't even read it in there, but I'm not sure. For each round, I keep track first, second, and third place. So I can adjust the leaderboard there. Like I said, can you read the points there? What you could spend them on, Lorenzo? I'm watching your stream on my TV now. It's a lot easier to see now. Oh yeah, well I could have read them out to you or zoomed in. So, although this is going to change for season 2 of the show, we're still in season 1 for the next till where you finish up uh, week 52. So round 1 point you can get a hint, like if you don't know. 5 points you can time somebody out for a minute. 10 points you can give somebody a 5-minute timeout. Like, say, Alpha. Alpha is one that usually can get a lot of these, and you can time him out for have me time him out for 5 minutes, and that way you have a chance to getting first place, instead of him getting all the answers for first place, because somehow he's ahead in the time spectrum. Oh yeah, people do that, but this is a game and there's some strategy involved. Most of the people here won't get, shall we say, butt hurt. I got this idea from you remember, I'm not sure whether you were ever in the chat for on John's when he had Scribbattle. One of the things you could spend your points on was to time somebody out for the exact same reason. So, I thought people might like that here. So nobody's used it, so for 30 points, you can get a digital copy. Oh, 15 point. Oh. Yeah, and like I said, nobody's used it. Or 10 points, the other thing you can do is, for the next 5 rounds, multiply your points by 2. So say at the beginning of the show you have, 10 points to spend, and you think you might be able to get all those first answers, or even the second place answers, you can spend that 10 points and, multiply those answers, like if you get the first place, that's 3 points. So for 5 rounds, multiply by 2 instead of, 15, you can get 30 points. Instead of 10 points, you can get 20 points. If you get 1 point, actually, if you can get 1 point for each of those rounds, you multiply it, you can get, instead of 5 points, 10 points. Yeah. Well, that was a different sort of thing. In Scribbattle, that was a game show that he has he hasn't done in a while. And again, for 15 points, you can time somebody out for 10 minutes. In my chat, you don't time out anybody for no good reason. I allowed this for a game, and you don't get to do it, I do it. Because it's part of the game, you paid your points to do it. And that's the only reason it would be allowed. And I guess that's not no good reason, but it's for 30 points, you can get a digital comic. For 40 points, you can get all rounds of infinite guesses. Nobody's used that. In other words, normally you're only allowed 1 guess per round. But you're allowed infinite guesses per round with that. So, if nobody's getting it right, you could just keep guessing and guessing and guessing and guessing. You might need a hint for some of them. But if somebody's used up all their you did their guesses for the round, and then you do that. But maybe I should put that down because you only have a max of 45 points without any extra stuff. 50 points gets a cross comics card sent to you. 75 points, especially if you use at the beginning, is good, depending on how good you think you're going to do. That was for the set, and they've come down in price. Yeah. That was a little ridiculous back then, I know. But that was 7 cards, too, so. But for 74 points, all rounds for this episode, multiply your points by 3. I guess you could do that after the fact if you think you have enough points. Because 45, if you got all points, if you add up your points and you think it'll equal more than the 75, because I don't specify you have to do that at the beginning. Yeah, when I put them on sale for the auction. And then for 100 points, something nobody's done is pick a silhouette for the next show. If it stumps everyone, if like nobody gets who the character is, you get 200 points. You double. If you stump 2 people, like only one person gets it right, you get 100 points. So you get your points back. If you stump one person, you get 50 points back. In other words, if 2 people get it right and one gets it wrong, or only one person. If 2 people get it right, you get 50 points back. And you can't play the round. Not that you would, because why would you want to? Why? Unless it's to throw people off. And of course, if everybody gets it, you get 0 points. So. Well, technically, I have more than 7 cards. I have those original 7. I didn't end up printing any more in that set yet. I'd like to print a few more in that set. I had planned on it. I have a different set that they came with the last campaign. think you would have seen these. And then I have on the back the power scaling and a brief history. I should make one of these up for Absorb. So there's 4 of these. Well, like 4 different ones. There's one of Canadian Shield, Snowdrift. Who else? Well, I should do John Sims too. Well, you got with the last campaign, so you would have got this, Lorenzo, with the last campaign. In fact, I think you would have got all 4 cards. There's this one, Snowdrift, Toxico, and Messenger. With the Canadian Shield 2 and Snowdrift 1, you got that, right, Lorenzo? Yeah, I know you did. It's just, have you opened it and read it? And of course, I have the fan versions of Canadian Shield. Evan Von Scriber and Elrix. And then, of course, and then we have Canadian Shield Joe King. Again, you should have the fan cards. They would have came with number 1. And I think also these ones did too. The Joe King Canadian Shield. On the back it has cover, my cover. What's on the back of Joe? That's on the back of the Joe King one. Oh, I had no idea where most of my comics are, as I'm so disorganized. I'm pretty sure you backed Canadian Shield 2, Snowdrift 1. So I'm not sure whether you opened the package, but if you opened the package, the cards would be in there. Yeah, I remastered Canadian Shield 1. I did not do a campaign for that. But you could get that. You'll be able to get that with upcoming campaign if you want it. There. And, there's some inside of it. compared to voila, an original. No, like the wrong way. As you can see, the art, some of the art's the same, some of it's a little different. Yeah. Well, technically, I'm gonna see whether I gotta find it. I was still wanting to do this for Canadian Shield 3, but I think I'll do it end up for doing Canadian Shield 4. I have another version of this that I did before here. I never printed it off. I had it only available for digital. It only ever sold one, maybe two digital copies. Um, it was completely different. Well, it was similar look, but it was a different. Yeah, there's some is more like for these two here. No, I want the other two. Right here. Oh, am I cover? Yeah, so these two right here. If you look on the bottom panel, there's you can see a fairly big difference. Right here. Well, I won't say George Lucas, but no, the one that was before this, I decided the art was crummy, really crummy. Um, I never, like I said, the one before this never printed up. I basically took it, redid almost all the art. All the panels were very similar to this. I doubt whether I got it. Unfortunately, I might never have it. Uh, because it was on my old hard drive. I might have it somewhere on another computer. like you did a initial draft and a final one? Yes and no. Um, when I did the one that I'm talking about, I was it was before I got into this realm, and I uh, I did it. I thought it was decent enough, and then got into us, and it's like, okay, this is crap. I need to redo it. But I liked a lot of the initial stuff of it, so I redid the all the artwork on it, started from scratch, and that was showcased on me drawing up on my channel here. That Yeah, and it's one that I had actually done before. Like I said, we got in, and like I said, I knew it was crap, and nobody would buy it if I put it out as a comic book. So it's like, okay, I need to redo the art. Now I'm thinking, I might like to try and get a hold, find the artwork, and say, hey, special edition, the early version of what this would have looked like back then. Just have 25 printed up. It's a special thing. Maybe charge a couple extra bucks for it. You know, and there'd like only be, I'd say, 26 printed up, one for myself and 25 others who would get the tier if they would get it. Do you do the pencils? For that one that I'm talking about, I did everything. But nowadays I am usually having somebody do the pencils and inks. I do some edits on the artwork if need be. Um, and I'm doing the colors and the lettering. Yeah, so yeah, I basically have them draw the entire thing. Like, uh, um, actually, Dillard did the pencils and inks on Snowdrift 1. For number 2, I'm having Dillard do the pencils for Snowdrift, and Flyfox Pro is doing the inks. For Canadian Shield 3, Efren Crespo, who did the pencils and inks on Canadian Shield 2, is doing them for number 3 as well. And I'm doing the coloring. Here's a little bit of a look at Canadian Shield. So no lettering's been put in yet. There's the cover. Actually, I gotta have something in there for the 3. Inside cover is going to be a dedication page to my dad. These 3 pages here aren't here because there's going to be a draw-in tier on Canadian Shield 3. And for in church. And then on no, the person that did who drew Canadian Shield 2 is in Massachusetts, I believe. So this is some of the line work for Canadian Shield. And actually, I've Alpha Proto, who was in here earlier, is doing an Ashcan for me for Canadian Shield. I'm doing a 4-page Ashcan. If anybody gets a physical tier, will get a copy of that. And I'll show you the first page of that. And also, Alpha will be doing Canadian Shield 4. So here's the first page of that Canadian Shield Ashcan. It's just going to be black ink for now. Oh, yeah, you guys can't see this stuff. Crap. Okay, so yeah, there is the Ashcan. Page 1 of the Ashcan. Oh, this basically um this takes place after been on the he's helped form a team, my Holy Warriors, my Justice League thing. He's just recording a little thing for, I guess, people who they bring into their group, allow him a space station or whatever. I'm not sure. A little recording saying who he is, what he did, what's happened to him. You know, just a little bit of an overview. In fact, I can read it to you if you want. Okay. Yeah, so page 1, panel 1.
I am Manly Cougar, known to many as Manly Cougar. Panel 2. After being transported through time, I was given a suit that I am told is from the future. Panel 3. A few months later, I would adopt the name Canadian Shield while wearing it.
And he split this one up into 3, but I have panel 4.
When I wear it, I can do many incredible feats.
So he split it up and showing scenes flying, lifting a car, getting shot with bullets with them bouncing off. Now, page 2 through 4 have yet to be drawn. They're being worked on. Page 2 got some. Page 2, panel 1 is
That's Canadian Shield. I help save people from dangerous situations. I stop everyday bank robbers and thugs from doing their thing. Panel 3. I battle the occasional supervillain. Panel 4. I even sometimes team up with some friends that I've made to take on even more serious threats.
And that would be him with the Holy Warriors.
Panel 5. I might even help people do some simple everyday tasks when they need a hand.
So there's a lot what's going to be interpreted by Alpha Proto. We've talked about that. This, so page 3. Page 3, panel 1.
This all ends up happening because I made Jesus my savior.
Panel 2.
That all happened back in the early 1800s, where I am originally from.
Panel 3.
It was a traveling preacher who showed interest in me and my people that caught my attention.
Panel 4.
Till then, most of his people had not much to do with us unless it was for trading goods.
Panel 5.
However, that is tale for another time.
Page 4.
With that, you know who I am and what I am about.
Panel 2.
End recording. Panel 3. Well, I hope that will be to the wizard's liking. I'm not sure if it is a good idea to make these recordings for us to introduce ourselves to new heroes that will join our ranks. Computer, transport back to Hamilton.
And then panel 5, Canadian Shield is being teleported out of where he is. And this is all happening on their space station. So that is the Ashcan. So I'm not sure what you think. And like I said, Alpha Proto, this is the art from the Ashcan. He will be doing Canadian Shield 4, drawing it up. And that. So, with that, I think I'm going to end. we went a little bit overboard, which is all right. Oh, that's just. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Been great talking with you, seeing you, Lorenzo. I will be back on Saturday morning coloring up Canadian Shield 3. We are on page 4. Hopefully that'll get finished off. I might. So Canadian Shield is visiting your city. Once the story arc of him traveling south, he's going to end up back in Hamilton. That's where he started from in his day and age. And he'll end up back in Hamilton in the comics. That is his base of operations. So he's not visiting my city. At that point, when the Ashcan is taking place, he's back in Hamilton and living there. What time are you streaming? 9 o'clock a.m. I try and do that most Saturday mornings. There, I've missed a few, but so with that, I think I will bid everybody adieu. I remember you. Well, I wouldn't say across Canada, but across Ontario, through Ontario. But yeah, thanks everybody for showing up. Hope you all enjoyed the Silhouette game. Hopefully see you on Saturday. And we'll say bye for now. God bless. Love you all. Hope you have a good day. Check out my AI videos, AI animation videos that I've been working on. And if you're a believer, check out my reading through Genesis. So, bye for now. God bless. Love you all. Have a great and wonderful day, night, whatever it may be for you. Love you all. God bless.